Let's jump right in. Picture this. You're hanging out in the hallway at school, and two of your friends are just going at it in a massive debate. I mean, they are loud. Maybe they're arguing over a new school rule, or, whether staring at a screen all day is actually bad for you. They both sound absolutely convinced that they're right. But how do you, as an 8th grader, actually figure out who's telling the truth? Like, how do you cut through all that noise when you're just getting hit with these loud, totally opposite arguments?
Well, that's exactly what we're going to figure out in this explainer. Today, we're going on a pretty exciting quest. We're going to learn how to become true scholars. And by that, I mean people who don't just, blindly agree with the loudest voice in the room. Instead, we're talking about getting the sharp tools you actually need to cut through all the world's noise. Our source material today is The Scholar's Guide to Comparing Arguments, and honestly, it's packed with exactly what you need to become a master at uncovering the truth.
So, here is our Scholar's Roadmap for today. We'll hit 5 stops. Number 1. Why comparing matters. Number 2, the argument map. 3, testing evidence. 4, real-world battles. And finally, number 5, the moral compass.
All right, let's dive right into Section 1, why comparing arguments actually matters and how it protects you.
We desperately need these tools, right? Because just going with our gut feeling, that doesn't really work out so well. Our source material roots this whole concept in a really interesting verse, Acts 17:11, which says, "They examined the scriptures every day to see if what Paul said was true." See, good readers, and really good scholars, they examine and verify things before making a decision. You don't just take someone's word for it, no matter how convincing they sound. You look at the text, you examine the facts, and you actually verify the truth before making up your mind.
Because comparing arguments, it's a genuinely crucial life skill. It literally protects you from just being swayed by whoever happens to be yelling the loudest, and it guides you toward the best supported positions instead. Think about it for your own future. You're going to be writing research papers, eventually voting in elections, making super important personal choices about your health or even your tech use. You have to move past that kind of immature idea of, well, which argument did I like better, to asking the real scholarly question. Okay, who actually reasons better?
Moving right along to Section 2, building your argument map, or how to deconstruct a text.
So when you're faced with just a giant, intimidating wall of text, you've got to break it down. And here are 3 exact steps to build a clear, logical map of what you're reading. Step 1, write the claim right at the top. Like, what is the author actually trying to prove here? Step 2, list 2 to 3 main reasons they give to support that claim. And step 3, note the exact types of evidence they're using. Are they using statistics, studies? Also, make sure to note any counterarguments they bring up. Basically, you're just drawing the skeleton of their argument so you can look at the whole thing clearly and objectively.
Which brings us to Section 3, testing the evidence. This is where we really interrogate the text.
Okay, so once we map out the argument, we have to interrogate it. And we do this using a matrix of evidence quality. Now, what's really interesting about this is that we can run 4 distinct tests. First up, credibility. Is the source actually trustworthy? Second, relevance. Is this evidence directly tied to the reason, or are they just kind of throwing random facts at you, hoping something sticks? Third is sufficiency. Is there enough data here to actually make a solid point? And fourth, timeliness. Is this information recent enough to still matter today? Let me tell you, when you weigh evidence through this matrix, you will instantly spot the weak links. It's practically a superpower.
But you really got to watch out because writers will absolutely try to set traps for you using logical fallacies. These are basically flaws in reasoning, or they use loaded language to try and mess with your trust. As your guide through this explainer, I really need to warn you about things like ad hominem attacks. That's a fancy way of saying someone is attacking the person instead of their actual argument. Or, jumping on the bandwagon. Writers love using loaded language to try to manipulate how you feel, so definitely keep an eye out for those traps.
All right, Section 4, real-world argument battles. Let's put these theories to the test, shall we?
It is time to put our new tools to work. I'm going to play referee for this first battle, which is all about school start times. So text A cites a massive multi-district study linking later start times to higher grades, and it even addresses budget concerns with a phased bus schedule plan. Now consider text B. It just shares a few quotes from students about feeling tired. There's no data, no plan. As scholars, we can see text A wins this battle hands down. I mean, it has credible evidence, handles the counterargument about the budget directly, and offers totally feasible solutions. Text B is, well, it's heartfelt for sure, but it's completely undersupported. Let's referee another battle. And this one brilliantly illustrates the power of mixing different types of appeals. Text A gives you emotional charity stories for clean water, plus an audited impact report and the exact cost per well. Text B, it just gives you emotional charity stories without any kind of verification. So text A is the clear winner here. Why? Because it blends pathos, that emotional feeling, with the hard numbers and the actual accountability of an audited report. It just makes the whole argument far, far more trustworthy.
Okay, here's our final battle, and it's about laptop use in class. Text A summarizes a meta-analysis across 20 different laptop studies and proposes these really nuanced classroom norms. Text B, on the other hand, relies on a single teacher anecdote using absolute words, like always and never. Once again, Text A absolutely crushes the competition. It uses broad data and nuanced practical policy, whereas Text B completely overgeneralizes from just one single example. Remember our matrix from earlier? Text B completely fails this efficiency test.
Now for our final section, Section 5, the scholar's moral compass. Let's talk about the scholar's true purpose.
So we've covered a lot of rigorous academic ground today, but we really need to slow down for a second and understand the deep moral purpose behind all of this. Proverbs 12:19 tells us, "Truthful lips endure forever." When we compare arguments, it requires total honesty and, honestly, a lot of humility. We always have to be fair to opposing views. You never want to misrepresent your opponent's view just to win a debate. As Ephesians 4:15 teaches, we are called to speak the truth in love. True scholarship? It's a pursuit of truth. It's definitely not a pursuit of just crushing your enemies. To help you actually practice these new analytical superpowers, the source material offers a really great Scholar's Homework Challenge. Here are the 5 specific steps. First, chart the claim, reasons, and evidence for 2 texts. Second, justify which text is actually stronger. Third, evaluate how they rebut counterarguments. Fourth, find and explain a logical fallacy. And finally, fifth, write a quick paragraph on how well the text fits its audience. I highly, highly encourage you to tackle this challenge. Because the crucial takeaway here is this: education without morality will hurt. This is actually the core philosophy of the HeroesmartAcademy Godly Learner series. Think about it earnestly for a second. What is the point of being super smart, of being, educated and mapping out arguments perfectly if you just keep making bad choices that hurt the people around you? Intelligence without a moral compass is just fundamentally flawed. On the flip side, Romans 8:6-7 promises peace of mind to everyone who keeps their minds spiritual. When we pair our rigorous academic scholarship with a spiritually focused mind, that's when we achieve true peace. That is the actual experience of people who engage deeply with this content. You don't have to choose between being smart and being spiritually grounded. They're literally meant to go together in perfect harmony. Which leads us to our final question for this explainer. Are you just getting smart, or are you actually gaining the truth and peace of mind to change the world? Just let that sit with you for a minute. Don't just learn how to win arguments. Learn how to find the truth, cultivate your character, and use your scholarly voice to make a real, lasting difference.